Mako Solar, well, Mako is a wholesale distribution company in all Latin America and the Caribbean. We are a company with almost 100 years in the market, founded in 1922, more than $100 million in sales per year, more than 700 employees, and more than 30,000 B2B customers. This is very important because we only sell to other companies, and I'll be a bit more precise about that in a minute. What is Mako? Mako is a group of 7 divisions or 7 small companies or different companies, and we sell very, very different products. So we have Mako Solar, that is the division in which I work with, but there is also home, hardware, food service, liquor, automotive, and mass consumption. Each one of them, each one of the divisions is completely independent commercially, but we share a back office that is basically logistics, administrative, finance, human resources. This is all Mako, but as Mako Solar division, we exclusively are dedicated to distribution of solar equipment. And that's very important because in Mako, we don't develop projects, we don't install, we don't do design. We only help the installers, the developers, the EPCs with the distribution of the equipment, okay? So that's what we do, and we do this in all Latin America and the Caribbean, as I will show you in the next, in the map in a few moments. Why work with us? First of all, accessibility. We have all the major components that you need for your projects. So basically modules, inverters, rack, BOS. We also have really good logistics, a long time experience doing logistics all over the globe. And very, very important, with the best products. So we work with the best brands with leading technology in all the market. So brands such as Fronius, that are a long time company that is not recent and that is giving really good service, really good technology, and really good products. And that is also really close with service and support after the sale. So we are a company that care a lot about the service after a sale. So if you have any problem with an equipment, with a project, we can help you with dealing with those problems. So we're gonna be here for the next 20, 25, 30 years without doubt. So you can trust in us as a good partner for doing business in the solar field. This is our strategic location. So we have our main hub for the Caribbean and Latin America in Panama, in Colón, free zone. We ship from Panama all over the Caribbean, more than 21 countries right now. And we also have a warehouse in Miami. So basically our main hub is Panama, but we can also ship from Miami. We have a local warehouse in Puerto Rico for the local market, and for the local Colombian market, we have 12 warehouses all over the country. So this is our contact information. If you are looking for equipment, if you have any project, please feel free to send us an email, to write us via WhatsApp, whatever. And we are gonna be really happy to work with you and help you with your projects. So I'm gonna give the presentation to Camilo. Thank you everyone for being here with us. If you have any question, whatever, you can leave it in the chat, and we will be answering your questions at the end of the webinar with Camilo. So Camilo, once again, thank you for being here with us, and I'll leave the presentation to you.
Okay, hello everyone, and those who are in Facebook or in YouTube. So welcome to the second webinar. As Carlos said, we are doing this series of webinar with our new partner for the Caribbean, which is Mako. And in this second one, we are going to talk about some solutions that we have for the monitoring and supervision of our products. So maybe you want to see the first webinar. I think it's in Mako's channel in YouTube. So I invite you to watch the first webinar when we explain all the products and solutions. So to start this second webinar, I want to take a few minutes just to present our company, what is Fronius, from where we start and where we are going. So a key factor of Fronius, we start as a company in 1945. This is more than 75 years now that we are in operation. The first divisions or how we start, or our the person, the founder who started Fronius, he started repairing radios in Austria. Then he starts the first division of Fronius, which was charging battery system. Later on, the second division starts in operation. This is a welding division. And finally, the last one, most important for us, the solar energy solution division. Very important also, our company is still in the hands of the family. So our current CEO is the granddaughter of Gunther Fronius, who was the person who started the company. It makes us a company with a lot of stability over the generations. We don't depend on the banking, we don't depend on external investors. So all our money, or the money that we need from the development of the products, it comes from our hands. So it makes us free or somehow independent from the macroeconomic changes. Good, so Fronius started in Pettenbach a long time ago, as I say. This is a small town in the middle of Austria, in the middle of Europe. So from this small place, we produce research and develop program is located in Austria. So it means that all our products are European. We don't have factories in another part of the world. Of course, we have some subsidiaries in some other countries, but it's more for logistic and make it easier for our customers. As I said before, we in the company have three divisions. The one of the most important, as well with solar division, is the welding. So for give you an example of how huge is this division, maybe you have seen these machines that weld materials in the car assembly. Well, we are part of these processes within this division. We also have participated in the aerospace industry. I think it was 2 years ago that we were part of the launch of the Falcon 9. So we are also in this aerospace industry with the welding division. And we can make this comparison because this division is the one that produces our inverter. So we are producing a nice inverter with a lot of nice technology behind that can be compared with a Mercedes-Benz or BMW car. Good, so present a few numbers about our divisions. We have sold more than 2 million inverters around the world. This is a very important number because we are not doing these big solar farms or big installations. We are focused in the residential and commercial solutions. And within this sector of the industry, we have installed more than 70 gigawatts of energy. We export almost all our products in more than 60 countries around the world. So we have three very important columns in our process that are the control, innovation, and the precision. So we ensure the maximum precision for each product in all our business unit. We have more than almost 700 people dedicated for the development of our products. And for sure, what is more important for us is the precision in all the products. When you receive the inverter, you will also receive a product that has been inspected and has passed through a very rigorous process to be ready for the work. Good, so also I want to present a few numbers about the Caribbean. We have installed or we have registered more than 1,000 PV systems in SolarWeb. Later on, we are going to see what is SolarWeb and what are the advantages or what we can do with this software. We have sold more than 3,000 inverters, and for sure, this is not the real of the last number because we know some of the inverters have been sold to Spain or Germany, but then it comes to the Caribbean. So for sure, we have more inverter registered or already installed in the Caribbean. So I take a snap from our system, and we can see here some projects around the all island in the Caribbean. So all these yellow points that you see in the map are the projects that are registered and that we can see in SolarWeb. So it's basically covering all the Caribbean. So as I explained in the first webinar, all our products are very useful for the extreme condition of the Caribbean. We know that we have very warm temperatures. We also have some conditions like storms that needs a device that can support these extreme conditions, and Fronius produce this kind of inverters. Good, just for starting in this webinar, we are going to start with the monitoring system. So basically what we are going to see is the final step of the monitoring process, and this is SolarWeb, where when you connect the inverter to our software for the monitoring and supervising. So let's see in this video, a few characteristics about our SolarWeb, but later we are going to see on the real project how it looks, the SolarWeb. Good. So as you see in this video, the SolarWeb is our monitoring system. You can see all the production of your PV project, and you can monitor in this through your cell phone or your laptop. If you want to do it through your cell phone, we have these new apps, SolarWeb, sorry, Solar Star and Solar SOS. Of course, SolarWeb is the app that is needed for the monitoring system. Solar Star is the app that you need to start the commissioning process of an inverter. And finally, the Solar SOS is an app where you can check if the inverter needs a troubleshooting. So it will guide you through every steps that need to be solved on the inverter. Okay, so all our monitoring system starts with the data logger. Our data logger is known as DATAMANAGER 2.0. Is dedicated for the SNAP inverters. So with this DATAMANAGER, you can connect or you can link up to 100 inverters. So the idea is if you have more than 30 inverters in an installation, we recommend to use another DATAMANAGER. So basically I will say, technically you can connect up to 100 inverters, but I recommend no more than 30. It doesn't mean that in an installation it can be only 30 inverters. It means that after the 31, you will need a second DATAMANAGER, which is completely easy to install. So with this DATAMANAGER, you will be able to connect or to link all the data to our SolarWeb portal. Also, you can connect your system to a third party. Which third party can it be? It will be a Modbus TCP installation that needs some kind of SCADA supervising, or maybe a BMS on the building. So you can connect through our DATAMANAGER. It has also another port to use Modbus RTU through cabling RS485. So also, and every time more common to use APIs. So what is an API? API is an application programming interface. What it's doing is, for example, when you use your DATAMANAGER, you are recording data from your system. Then this data is connected to internet and it sends to our servers. So if you need to take this data from the servers, you just request this API, and then you can use it from your own system or your own app or wherever you want to use it. This API uses JSON programming language, so it's very easy for programming. So if you need it for any applications, you also can request these API solutions. With this data manager, you can also connect the smart meter, and you can do some power control, something that we call also non-feed-in or zero feed-in. For example, we can do this with the smart meter. And also we have an open digital inputs and digital outputs where you can do also some energy management that we will see later on. So let's see how it looks, this data manager in the inverter. So this is picture from the low part of the inverter where we can see all the parts of these sections. In the number 1 and number 2, we have the connections for the SolarNet plugs. So this SolarNet is our internal communication system. When you want to connect more than one inverter in a single installation, you will do it using daisy chaining cabling through these ports. Normally, in every single installation, even if you are using just one inverter, you need to have these plugs connected to the inverter. So it doesn't matter if you have 1, 2, or 3 inverters, you always need to have these plugs connected to all the inverters. Of course, if you are using 3 inverters in one single installation, you can connect it using cabling, but always please keep in mind that these ports needs to be connected. Also, we have this USB interface. With the USB, you also can record some data, or you can do local update of our systems if it's needed. Number 5 is the WLAN. It is needed when you want to connect the inverter through Wi-Fi. So this antenna let us do it with these Wi-Fi connections. We also have the possibility to connect via LAN. So we have this port where you can connect via LAN to internet, and it's also working for the Modbus TCP connections. In the data manager, we also have this status LED, and there are in total 4, and it shows us if everything is okay for the connection. So when you see everything in green, everything is fine. When one of these LEDs is in red, you should contact our technical department, or you will maybe need to look if the connections between the inverters are right. Good. We also have this digital IOS when you can connect to a third party using Modbus TCP, or you can use this as a digital inputs or outputs for whenever control that you want to do on the inverter. Additionally, we also have this signal, number 9 and number 4, that can be used as an output or input depending on what you want to do. For example, you can connect an over voltage protection, and when this protection is active, they will give us a signal so you will know that the SPD is active, which is very important, and not all the devices can do this. So I was mentioned that we can connect more than one inverter in a single installation using just one data manager. We can also do it individually. So it means each data manager will send the data to our router, but we also have the option to connect through the SolarNet links. So what we do in this option is to have a master inverter and 2 slaves in this example, when all the data is sent to internet just by the master inverter. In this case, in this installation, only one data manager is needed, and the second and the third inverter doesn't need the data manager, so you can save some money when you buy the inverters. Then you can see and check all the data using our Solar web portal, or also our Solar web app for the cell phone. Good. So how we do this ring connection? As I said before, we always need to keep in mind that these terminals needs to be connected to the first inverter. Then we use cabling using Cat5 connections between the first inverter to the second, and then until the end of the inverters. In the last one, you will put the, or is needed to put the terminal on the solar net output. Please keep this in mind because it's one of the most common mistakes when we do this connection. So after we do this cabling between the inverters, then we just need to start our Fronius, and that's it. They will start to producing. So let's see how it should be working. Good. So we did the cabling connection for AC and DC side. We also connect the inverters in the installation. Then the next step is to do the commissioning process. It's very simple. It's a couple of steps. So the first one is to select the language. And we have a lot of languages between inside the programming of the system. So you can choose between English, French, Spanish, depends of your preference. Then it's very important that you select the country settings. For some countries, we don't have any specific country because there is no rule specifically for that country. So you can use an international selection that should be 60 Hertz or 50 Hertz according to your grid. Then, of course, you need to select the time settings. Please keep in mind that if you don't use summertime, you need to turn off that option. It will appear on the display, but if you don't use this in your country, you should turn this option off. Also, there are another option that needs to be set in this commissioning, like, for example, if you have a second MPPT in operation or not in operation, you should select the correct option. And that's it. After that, you just need to start the Wi-Fi access point to connect the inverter to SolarWeb. So how is this process? You just need to move in the display of the inverter to the setup. Then you start the Wi-Fi access point. When you select this option, they will bring you the possibility to connect any smart device to the inverter. So for example, I will recommend to use a laptop. In the laptop, you will see in the Wi-Fi options, the connection to the Fronius data manager, which is always starting with Fronius 240 dot another 6 numbers. So they will ask you for a password. The password is always the number from the 1 to the 8. So it means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you can start the process. When you then you have to go to your browser and you need to type this number that is in here. I will highlight it for you, or // data manager, and it will bring you the possibility to connect through your laptop to the data manager itself. So in your laptop, there will appear this wizard. So you can select through or the SolarWeb wizard or the technician wizard, but I strongly recommend for you to use the Solar Web Wizard. What is the difference? When you use the technical wizard, you need to fulfill all the steps and requirements in the installation. But sometimes it's not needed, and when it's not needed, you can continue because you don't have an option. For example, if you are not going to do a load management, or you are not going to control any active or reactive power, they will force you to do some control, so you don't need it, and it will make the process more longer. So again, I recommend you to use the Solar Web Wizard when it will guide you through the basic steps, and if later is needed, you can enter to the interface and complete the process, or to select another process that hasn't been set with the Solar Web Wizard. So when you start this option, you will see some basic steps where you need to fulfill some data. For example, the name of the installation, how much DC power are installed, which system time are using, the network setup, if it's Wi-Fi, if it's LAN, if it's a static or dynamic address. Of course, you need to set up some password. So also a recommendation here is not forget this password. Otherwise, you need to contact us. We will bring you a second password if you forget the one that you use in the commissioning process. If in any of these steps through the commissioning you make a mistake or you want to go back, you need to put this code on the inverter 787. To do it, you need to press 5 times the third button from left to the right. It will appear 5 zeros on the display, so you are able to put this code on the inverter, and you can continue with the process. With this number, with the 73887, you have the option to only change the country setup. So for example, if you need to change from 60 hertz to 50 hertz, or if you need to change from 208 volts to 240 volts, you can do it using this access code. But if you want to start the full process, you need to use the code that we highlight for you, the 78278. Good. So we have already installed all the hardware. We already set up the commissioning process, and we have already connected the inverter and the data manager to internet. So then we can also install our smart meter. What is the smart meter? It's our bidirectional meter that can see all the consumption and production that are in the installation. So you also will see the consumption in your house or in the company where you start the inverter. And also you will see how the grid is sending energy or how you are sending energy to the grid. So this is the possibility that we have with this bidirectional meter. We have for 50 hertz, for 60 hertz, so depending on your country, there are different smart meters, so always keep in mind which grid are you needing or in which grid are you going to install the smart meter, so we can support you selecting the best for you. Good, so finally we get to the solar web, so let's see this on internet in a real project. Carlos, I have a question. Are you already seeing my screen in internet?
Yeah. We're seeing.
Okay, cool. Good. So this is the Solar Web software. This is the portal where we can do
Yes,
the
Camilo, sorry
monitoring and
that
support.
I was having a problem with my connection, but yes, we can
System.
see it and it's everything okay.
Okay, no problem. Thanks. So in these installations, I register myself, my email, so I have access to this projects, but you can also have a lot of different projects registered on your name or on your company name. Let's see one that is right now in operation. So for example, let's see this Fronius Mexico in Monterrey. You can see the current power that is right now in the site, which is the offices from Fronius in Mexico. In here, we can see, for example, how much energy is produced in our inverters. It says that it's almost 32 kilowatts, which accounts for the 73% of the total DC power installed. It means that if we are consuming right now 77.5 kilowatts from the grid is coming, we can see this flow of energy. In the future, when we also have this battery installation, we can also see the flow of energy coming or going out from the batteries. Good. So one nice option that we have here is the production and consumption side, when we can see how this energy or how everything is happening right now in the installation. This blue line is showing us the consumption that is right now in the offices. So for example, we can clearly see that they start to work at 7 a.m., that they start with some computers, air conditioning system, and we see clearly the increase of this consumption. Also, we can see here in yellow how much energy is the inverter producing, and from this energy, how much is for self-consumption or how much is being sending through to the grid. In this case, we are not sending energy to the grid. Every single kilowatt is consuming directly. And also a very nice option that we have is this power forecast. So it means how much energy we think that the system will produce by the rest of the day, but also for tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. So we can see this with 2 days in advance. And this is possible because we have this weather station agreement with some companies. So we can somehow guess how much energy can we produce. With this energy balance, we see all the production from the start of the project. So let's see this day, because you already see some small amount of energy that is sent to the grid. So here, for example, we see a power that was sent to the grid on the 2 weeks ago, and the production of energy exceed the consumption. So this system also send energy to the grid. So from a consumption point of view, what we are seeing is how much energy the grid is supplying to this installation. This in gray is the total amount of energy that the company will sell us, and in yellow is how we produce, and of course the difference is what we sell or what we send to the grid. We also, in this page, we can see how much we have earning from the start of the project. Maybe this need to be configured because I don't see any amount of money, but we can see this earning from the start of the project. Also, how much CO2 has been saving in total since the installation. Good. So let's see what other options we can see here in this solar web portal. And here we can put some other data. For example, in this currency, maybe it's because it's in zero that we don't see the total amount. Yep, it's in zero. So we can change the currency and we will calculate the amount of money that the project is saving for using the solar system. We also can change the orientation from our models, and we can add multiple orientation if it's needed. In this portal also we can do software upgrades if there are some available. So for example, with this data manager, the system will check if there is any update that is able or available to install. We just need to click, select the option and update the system. It's also possible with the inverter. So if any update is needed, we can do it using the portal. Of course, what is needed is that the system is connected to internet and that has a very stable connection. If the process fails, then we need to go to the inverter and update the system using an USB. That is pretty simple as well. Good. Another option that we have in the Solar Web is to give some rights to different personnel. So for example, within the company, we can give access for all the employees to supervise the installation, but we also want that the customers see the project but don't change anything. So what we do is to register their email contact, add the user in this option and give them guest rights just for seeing the installation, but not to change anything. Good. Also, I know in some countries there are different tariffs from what you are feeding to the grid and what you are buying from the grid. So for example, if you need to change and add different tariff, you can do it. So let's assume that we have to Mexican pesos and another 15 Mexican pesos, and these 15 Mexican pesos only applies on Sunday. It's just as an example. So we can select different tariffs, and the system will give you a very detailed energy savings and money savings. Good. Another very important and nice option in this portal is that you can create reports. So you only need to select which report you want to have. There are already some basic reports that are pre-established in the system, but you can also create your own custom report if it's needed. So maybe you need to see a report of the reactive power in the system and you want to have it daily, so you can create this very easy, and that's it. To receive these reports, you need to add your email in these settings and contact options. So for example, in this project, only these three users can receive the report. I'm one of those who receive this report. I'm sorry, I'm not, because I select that I don't want to receive the report, but maybe I want to do it. So I just need to click here and I will receive daily all the reports on wherever reports are created for these installations. So maybe you need to have all the data from every day for every inverter. It's pretty easy. You just need to create this report and the system will send you these reports daily. It can be done with an Excel file or a flat file for any kind of software. Good. So for this project, we have 5 different reports, 2 customs and 2 automatic reports that are only the PV production. And we have 2 using this file and 3 using Excel file. It's pretty easy to use it. So if you need any kind of report, you just need to create it in this option. Finally, one nice option that we have in this portal is the history. In here, you can select any of the inverters that are in the installation, and also if there has an smart meter. And with these devices, you can check, for example, how much power per MPPT or the total power, or any different channel that you want to see from the first day that the system was installed. So maybe we need to compare the difference between two inverters, or we need to see if one of the MPPTs is working correctly. So we come to this option, we select the device, we select the channel, and we see how is this option is operating inside the inverter. Also very nice, for example, we can select the smart meter. As I say before, this smart meter will bring you the possibility to check not only the production from your PV system, but also the consumption and all the energy flow that is coming or that is going to the grid. So as we have this option, we can now also check the voltage in the phases from the grid. So we can also have like a small grid analysis in your system. So let's see here what happened with the grid today. So it started, for example, in 52 volts, but then it increased the voltage, and finally it decreased the lowest level in the phase 2 of almost 250 volts. This is very important because sometimes in some grids that are not that stable, the inverter can disconnect easily, and it's because of this difference in the voltage from the grid. So with this system, with the smart meter, we can check what is happening and what is needed to do in the installation. Maybe we need to change the tap in the transformer, or we need to do some other electrical configurations in the installation. Good. Something that I want to show you is this option that you have here. One is the solar TV, and the other one is the solar configurator. With this solar configurator, you can select and design your system using this software. It's also for free. And in here, you can see all the modules of the companies that produce modules. So for example, let's see Trina Solar. And you can select all the modules that are available right now. Let's, I don't know, 335, 330, I don't know which is exactly one. And with this software, you can see the best option for your system and how the connections should be done. So for example, let's select Jamaica, and let's see a project with the Simon, and with the Simon, for example, let's wait till it's ready. Good. So we want to use a project using the Simon 20 kilowatts, and we want to use Trina modules 335 vertex. So the software will show you the possibility to see which is the best configuration. Also, you can see here the different languages. You can change to the one of your preference. But very important here, you see the inverter ratio. What is this? In Fronius, you can use more power on the DC side. So we can oversizing the inverter up to 150%. So for example, I will choose 150%. We already select the module, we already select the Trina factory. We are assuming a project in Jamaica using our three phases inverter Simon. And let's see what the software recommends us for the connection. Okay, meanwhile the system is finalizing the calculation. Let's see this solar TV. This option is also for free. This is an option that you have to show the production or different data from your system continuously in any television, laptop, or wherever you want to show it. So for example, you are with your customer in the lobby or in the office, and you want to or the customer want that always this data is being shown in this television. So it's pretty simple. You just need to go to Solar TV. It's for free. You can also select different parameters that I want to be shown. So for example, I select Fronius Mexico. I want to see just the production of energy in the last 3 days. Maybe it's better if I select 30 days. I want also to see how is working in this week. Also, I can add the logo of the installer, also some image from the customer, and that's it. And the system, as I say, will show you this information. You can also select different or more installations, and it will continue showing this information. Good. Okay. I don't know, Carlos, if we have any question. Maybe
For the moment,
while we
no,
are waiting
Camilo.
for. Okay, so
Um,
now we have the calculation. So as you see here, we can connect to this inverter up to 56 modules, which is almost 30 kilowatts in DC power with one SIMO 20 kilowatts. So as I say, we are oversizing this inverter almost 1.5 times, sorry. And this system will show us the best option for the connection. So for example, we can use 21 modules in the first MPPT for each string and 14 modules with one string for the second MPPT. We can also create a report, and then we can add it to the memories from the design of the system. Good. So this was software that I want to show you of our system. I don't know if we have any question or something that Mako wants to add in this webinar.
Camilo, thank you so much. Let me see if we have any questions. No, we don't have. So, Camilo, once again, thank you so much for being here in this webinar. I'm gonna share my screen just to give you all our contact information. So if you are looking for equipment, if you are developing a project or making some design, please write to us directly to Miguel, that is our commercial engineer, or to me. Here you have our phone number. You can write us via WhatsApp, or you can also write directly an email to us. So once again, thank you, Camilo, for being here in this webinar. It was really interesting, really good for the people that doesn't know Fronius, and for the ones that are using Fronius, maybe they are missing some of these things that they can do with their equipment. So thank you, Camilo. And yes, if you also have any questions regarding these webinars when you are reviving them or seeing them again in our YouTube channel, please feel free to write us, and we will help you with whatever question you have or problems you have with your equipment. So yes, thank you, Camilo, again, and we hope to see you in the next webinar.
Yep, thank you all of you. And if you have any questions, just let us know. We will make the best of our effort to answer your question. So thanks all of you. Thanks, Meiko, for this webinar. Hope to see you soon in another webinar. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Camilo. Bye-bye.